The time now is 20 minutes past 8, and today is Tuesday, 18th of November. So our topic for today is screening interviews. Okay, Alhamdulillah, we have done our first assessment, and screening interview is the second assessment, okay, which will be conducted after your semester break. All right. So these are the learning outcomes or the objectives of today's class. Okay. And sending and submitting, preparing your resume, and also submitting your resume in applying for a job or for your internship. That's part of the first part of the interview process. Okay. The next stage is there are different stages, different process that different candidates might go through. Okay, the first one, some of you might get a call for the first interview with the human resource officer. That's why when you were preparing for your resume and your cover letter, I reminded you, find out the name of the person in charge or the hiring manager or the human resource officer. Okay, so that's the first stage. There might be a second interview with the head of department before you are hired, before you receive the offer letter. So when you receive the offer letter, don't get so excited. Make sure you read, go through properly. What are the terms and conditions? If you agree, then you can sign the offer letter, then you can report for duty. Okay, so there are different processes, different stages for different organizations. Okay, some can be quite elaborative, right? For example, the first stage is on your part. You prepare your resume and the cover letter and you apply for the job. And there might also be aptitude tests or even fitness tests, okay, before the first and the second interview. But it is also possible to have a very straightforward process where there is only one interview and you immediately receive your offer letter, and you can, remember again, go through the offer letter before you sign, and if you agree with the terms and conditions before you sign the letter of employment. Okay, in terms of screening interview, the screening interview can take several forms. Okay, it can be over the phone. The most common one is online interviews. Particularly if you are applying for a job that is out of your state. Okay, let's say you're from Kelantan, and you are applying for the company is in Sabah or Sarawak. Okay, so or even in KL, even in Kuala Lumpur itself, you don't have to go to the company building. Yeah, it is conducted through Zoom. Okay, and it is conducted online. Okay, and also, I remember my son when he was applying for a bank in KL. The first interview was conducted online, and also, as I mentioned just now, when he was applying for other companies, some companies might give an assessment test or online assessment test. Big companies normally, yeah, and also some companies might give you a task within a stipulated time. You complete this task, and then from there, they will decide whether they're going to call you for a face-to-face interview. Being called for a physical interview or face-to-face interview doesn't really guarantee that you get the job. you might pass, you might pass the online interviews, you might experience, and then they call you for the face-to-face interview, but it doesn't mean that you might get the job, because there are also other candidates, other qualified candidate as qualified as you. Or even some companies ask you to record. They gave you some questions, okay, work related questions and also personal questions. So this is what we're going to do today. Yeah. And you record your response. Okay. So that's also going to be your second assessment. So these are the steps in preparing for screening interview. First of all, understand the interview format. Okay, the question types. Is it behavioral? Is it work related? Okay, and also take note of the instructions, the deadlines, and technical requirements. Okay, is it recorded? If it's online, the time. Okay, and before the interview, find out about the company and the role that you are applying for, because normally at the end of the interview you will be given a chance to ask question. So you shouldn't be asking a question like, if I get this job, what would my role be? What would I be doing? You apply for the post, so you should know what is expected from you. Okay, certain questions, and also study the company's mission or values, and you can bring it up during the interview. I noticed that you have expanded, and you are planning to set up a new branch in Miri. Okay, is there any possibility that I might be posted to Miri? Or you want to bring up during the interview, you notice that the company has been awarded for any prestigious award. So it shows that, you know what's going on with the company, what they do, and if the company gets any award or recognition. Okay, and also analyze the job description, what is expected, instead of asking about it in the interview. Okay, and you might also want to identify potential question and prepare your responses for potential questions. And if you want to record, or if you're going to have an online interview, make sure that you set up a professional environment, whether it's at home or your back in your house, okay, or even in the library, but make sure it's a professional environment, not something hanging, because I've seen video of my students recording their assessment, and there are some clothes hanging behind. Okay, and also the position the camera carefully. So set up a professional environment. Okay, so these are some of the questions. Questions can be open-ended and also WH questions. So these are samples. What are possible WH questions that can be asked? So go through these questions and prepare your responses. Okay. The next step is to check your gadgets. Okay, your webcam, your desktop, microphone, camera, they all function, and also make sure you have a stable internet connection. So it could be in the library, or if it's at home. Okay, and if you notice that whenever I have online class, make sure that my phone is on silent mode so that I won't be interrupted. And then, just now before I started my class, my colleague came and, she wanted to ask me something. So I make sure that I've cleared that off and before I start my class. And I put a sign outside, do not disturb, because I'm recording my class. Okay. And dress professionally, practice answering the questions. The questions are work-related questions, and the questions can also personal questions, and also questions from your resume pertaining to your skills, something that you share your experience as a volunteer. Okay, so these are some sample questions, open-ended questions. Okay, and next step is to maintain positive body language. So I would advise my student to, you know, when you are practicing answering the questions, okay, it would be good to record yourself. Okay, so that you record yourself and you watch the recording. I think we have done that in the class, right? You watch that recording. We've done that practice in the class, right? You record yourself first. You turn off the audio and just look at your body language, your facial expression, gestures, you know. So that's why the positioning of the camera is very important. Whether, you know, half and you can see, you know, like, and your hands are not so busy, but it's appropriate. The hand gestures are appropriate. Your facial expression, and your eyes, you know, not going elsewhere, you know, like the eyes looking at the camera, but at the same time maintaining a professional, calm, and, you know, smile. So look at the recording and take note of your take note of the body language. Okay, whether you're smiling enough, whether it's appropriate, you know, and then listen to the recording again. This time, don't look at the video, don't look at your recording, but listen. Listen to how you pronounce word. Listen to how you respond to the questions, okay? The pace, your volume, whether there are any fillers, how you pace your answer, any and you know, okay? And do you sound composed, and do you sound confident, or do you talk too fast or too slow? Okay, and well, you can pause. You can pause before answering. Okay, but don't pause too long. So are you taking a long pause? Okay, so that's why we did the exercise in the class, right? I asked you to record yourself, and then record yourself responding to these questions. Okay, it can be behavioral questions, it can be WH questions like I showed just now, it can be open-ended question. Okay, how do you respond to those questions? And when you listen separately, the audio and the video, and third way is to transcribe. Listen and you transcribe. Transcribe means you listen to you talking and then you write down. From there, you can look at your content, whether, oh, this is not relevant, you know. The words, the choice of words, you know, I should use better words, you know, I should have, oh, this is how I should respond. Okay. So those are 3 ways how you can improve your responses. Okay. You should also manage your time wisely. So read each question carefully and make sure you understand the question, and don't talk too long. Make it just sweet and short and sweet. Okay. And then don't rush. Okay. Through your answers. And if it's recorded, then you can practice. Okay. If it's online, then that's why you need to practice too before the interview, before the online interview. So at least practice over, you know, several questions, WH questions, work-related questions, personal questions, open-ended questions, behavioral questions. Okay, practice on several questions so that you would be ready if during the online interview, any types of questions asked to you. Okay, for any types of questions. If it's recorded, then review. Before you submit, review to make sure that the whole thing is recorded. Okay, and you are happy with your response. Okay, so these are the common questions. Okay, you must be able to tell something about yourself. Okay, and telling something about yourself within, not, it doesn't have to be too long. Okay, and so these are some of the questions. Okay, you can practice, and they might also be situations or questions that are irrelevant. Okay, like these questions. Okay, so you got to know how to handle irrelevant interview questions tactfully as well. Okay, so these are, but the tip is to be polite, to be professional, keep it relevant, and to have a clear structure when you are responding, even to rude and irrelevant questions. Okay, and when given a chance, okay, remember to highlight your strength. So be calm, be concise, and be confident. Okay, so if you want to respond, okay, if you're going to respond to a question and you are practicing your responses, yeah. So this is how to have a well-structured answer. Introduce or thank them. Thank you for the question. Okay, and introduce. Okay, for example, let me take. Okay, what situations make you angry and how did you handle that? Thank you for the question. Okay, yes, as human we do have emotions. So introduce. Okay, and there are also times when I do feel unhappy or angry over a situation. But this is how I would handle a situation that I'm angry, or with my teammates or my group mates. Okay, so give your key points and the supporting details. Like, I understand where they are coming from. Instead of bursting into anger, I understand where they are coming from, and I identify what are the root causes for my teammates to lag behind. When we are working in a group and I have teammates who are lag behind schedule, or not contributing, I try to understand, and instead of bursting into anger, I see what I can support. Okay, however, so structure your answer and then come to a conclusion. Then, so how do you resolve the issue that is related to your emotion, to see how you are able to control your emotion? Okay, so there you go. So that's on screening interview. Intan, Farhana, any questions so far? Now I would take any questions. Okay, Adiba.
No, doctor.
Yes? No questions? Everything is clear?
Yes, doctor.
Thank you for giving thumbs up, Alia. For giving thumbs up. If you don't know question, then let me ask you a question. In the last slide, how would you answer irrelevant question? It's not personal. It's not, questions like, do you have a boyfriend? How do you answer to irrelevant question? Anybody would like to try? Intan? It
Yes,
can
doctor.
help you. Yeah, yeah. You want to try?
If someone asks me about my boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
I will say not now, but in future.
Not now.
Not now, but in future.
In the future. Okay. But in a job, you can politely acknowledge the question. Yeah. But redirect the conversation back, as you were saying just now. Yeah. Right now, I don't really have a boyfriend because I would rather focus on my career. I think that I have plenty of time to, I'm building up my career. So redirect the conversation to your job requirement, to professional skills. Anybody else? Intan, Ain? Or you can answer the question with another question. Like, I'm not sure how the question would relate to the role or the post that I'm applying. Can you tell me more? What do you want? What do you hope to learn from my answer? Like, well, if you know that I'm engaged or I'm going to get married, like, how is that relevant? But you don't want to be rude. Mm. Or that's an interesting question. Okay. Or personal question, like, do you pray regularly? Mm. Do you, those questions that are, which are irrelevant. Okay. Or you can just decline, because the interviewer might just want to test you to see how do you respond to irrelevant or inappropriate questions. Decline politely. Okay, I'm not comfortable sharing that information. I would rather focus on my professional experience and how my knowledge and skills can help me in applying this, in getting this position. Just keep it direct, okay? Keep it brief, but you don't have to be rude, okay? I'm going to give a link to some questions, okay, for you to practice, okay, for assessment 2. So practice, and then for the assessment, you will be given these questions, 2 work-related questions and 2 personal questions, and you're going to record yourself and submit the recording on YouFuture. Is that clear?
Clear, madam.
Okay, Tasha, if there is no other question, let's end our class with Tasbih Kifara and Walas. Anybody? Can somebody please recite?
Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu was-salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr.
Thank you, Amira. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you, madam. Doctor.
Thank you, Doktor.